folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims info/thoughts video. So, this is going to be the first SimGuru Q&A focused video of 2019. But before I start that, I quickly want to mention that there is a new event starting in The Sims Mobile tomorrow, where you can earn 3 new hairstyles inspired by Millie Bobby Brown. So, I will do a more in-depth gameplay video once that event starts. So, now we're going to start off with more hype for 2019. As Nicole Breslauer asks if you can describe 2019 for The Sims 4 with one word. And SimGuru Grant says, surprising. So I find this pretty intriguing because I've already discussed in previous videos that the SimGurus are already starting to hype up 2019 to be a great year, but they tend to do this going into every year now, so yeah, take that as you will. But to have surprising as an adjective is a little bit more specific, and it can still be interpreted in many ways, but it's like, oh, okay, so we can maybe expect more of the unexpected this year. And that could be good or bad, though I'm expecting a bit of both. Because, well, what if surprising means that surprisingly we're not getting university this year? Yeah, I'm already expecting almost everything that I mentioned in my 2019 predictions video to be wrong, but university is one of the very few things that I'm expecting to get right, so yeah, I wonder if we'll get university for sure this year then, but I do start to think now that maybe we are going to get 2 expansion packs this year again, so that could still raise its chances a little bit, but I think that also means that maybe if we do get 2 expansion packs, it'll be where one of them is a lot more surprising than the other in a similar fashion to get together, but hopefully something that I'll like a bit more than that expansion pack. Also, when I quote retweeted that with some thinking emojis, SimGuru did respond with some angelic emojis, so yeah, I think that means cars are coming. No, not really, but yeah, it's quite interesting that the SimGurus are really intent on convincing us that 2019 is going to be a great year. I'm still keeping my expectations a little bit low, even though I'm still expecting some cool things to happen. Even if we end up not getting cars this year, I'd still like to see some sort of new transportation option, and I will bring up one of those ideas later on in this video. Next up, we have another tweet from SimGuru Grant where he says, playing a new thing we have in the works, and I'm laughing so hard. A walk-by named Luciano Moses just passed my house, and I laughed so hard I disrupted my coworkers. I took a pic of him, but, you know, spoilers. And SimGuru Morgan also says it was sort of a maniacal laugh. If only that meant that it was a hint at a superhero game pack coming next, but no, that's probably not it. I think we are going to get witches or maybe something hobbies related in the near future, but yeah, I think still at the very least, whatever it was that made SimGuru Grant laugh so hard, I think is just whatever it is that the Sim is wearing, and since it's part of future content, he can't share that just yet. Next comes the subject of quarterly teasers, as Kyle Frush asks, are we getting a quarterly teaser? And Grant says, as we discussed last year, these no longer quite make sense. But you'd never know how or when we will share things. We are making stuff. And yeah, I think especially seeing as how last year went, especially with there being 2 expansion packs and that they don't really first show anything from those packs through quarterly teasers, it would have been really weird if they had tried to force out quarterly teasers for every quarter last year. The only time they did that was the very first quarter when we had those 2 stuff packs and a game pack as well, although my first pet stuff was not in the quarterly teaser, but yeah, I can see why they did not do quarterly teasers for the rest of the year, and Maxis Monthly has sort of taken the place of quarterly teasers since they do tease future content in those live streams now, except it's on a monthly basis, but I feel like I still can't form a very solid opinion on them because since the time of them starting doing these Maxis Monthly live streams, they've only released 1 expansion pack. there have been no stuff packs or game packs that have released since they've started doing Maxis Monthlies, so I wonder if those packs will be teased at all through Maxis Monthly live streams. Though, I think I did see a recent tweet from either SimGuru Kate or SimGuru Grant saying that stuff packs and game packs most likely will not be teased through Maxis Monthly, but unfortunately I can't find the tweet right now. I really tried looking for it, but I don't know. I really regret not screenshotting it when I first saw it. I'm sorry, but yeah, it still makes sense to me either way, because yeah, I think they will want to just maybe do the same way that they've done it before, where the day before they announce it, they'll have a little GIF where they tease it and say like, oh, subscribe to our YouTube channel because yeah, there's going to be something announced tomorrow, and then the actual trailer will go up the next day. And now we're going to talk about Create a World for a bit, as Nando asks, is Create a World tool possible for The Sims 4? And Grant says not in the TS3 Create a World sense, but we have some ideas. It's a significant undertaking, and we'd have to weigh it against other options. But I find this interesting because obviously there's some method that they use to make each and every world that's been released for The Sims 4 so far. It was just, is it in the same sense as The Sims 3's Create a World tool, or is it something entirely different? And well, we basically have the answer for that now. It's the latter. I already was thinking that if they are working on a Create a World tool, it would have to be more user-friendly, most likely, than whatever it is that they're using, and yeah, so whatever we end up getting, if it happens, it'll be very different from TS3's Create a World tool. I was thinking one alternative solution could be that we would have something kind of like the options to make a few more new crests, where there'd be some sort of menu in the game where you can add a world, like maybe in like the world select screen, and you could choose from maybe 5 different templates where the world layouts and the lots are already set up for you, but you can just add them whenever you want to your game, so that you have at least a few more worlds. Even if you can't create the world entirely from scratch, at least you can still have some more templates where it's like, okay, we can have some more lots now, it's just you can't choose where exactly to place them. I still think that would be 10 times better than us being at the mercy of the developers and waiting until the next game pack or expansion pack comes out to get another world, if that pack were to even have another world in the first place, because not all game packs and expansion packs do that. And when Nando asks, should the community make some noise about that, Grant says no, we know it's desired, but we also know it's going to affect a relatively small percentage of our players. It's in the perfect Venn diagram of difficult to do. I don't fully believe this. Like, if he was strictly talking about creators who are going to make their own custom worlds, then I can totally see that. But what about the people who will just be downloading worlds? Kind of like how I don't build houses, but I download tons, literally hundreds from the gallery. So I think that might not be quite accurate. And Simmer Will basically asks the same thing here. And Grant says, we're considering both users and consumers of the content. Don't worry, we know the custom content crew is big. But yeah, really, I think Create a World would be worth doing. Even if he really is so convinced that it's not going to affect a huge amount of the player base. There's always a chance that whatever internal research that they did that allowed Grant to come to this conclusion could be wrong. Maybe they could release a Create a World tool and their expectations are blown out of the water. In addition, Valduin says, if you're willing to throw out ease of access in favor of allowing creators to create their own complex worlds, clothing, behaviors, etc., anything is possible. Just look at Valve's Source Engine or Bethesda's Creation Kit. Hard to master, but all powerful for custom user content. And Grant replies saying, not really an accurate comparison. Our tools weren't designed to be shareable by folks outside the company. which makes it very difficult to share them, i.e. we'd have to make a different tool that is supported for the community. That makes sense to me because I think whatever it is that they do use to create worlds in The Sims 4 is some sort of really advanced program that would take a little while to learn, maybe even need to know how to do some coding, so they can't just throw something like that out to the public and be like, here you go, have fun. And yeah, it wouldn't go over that well, I don't think. So, especially considering that I'm sure the vast majority of Simmers don't know how to code or do any of this advanced game design sort of stuff, they definitely need to take some time to make a tool that's more user-friendly so that it's more approachable and that not every single one of us are scared off and then nobody ends up creating any worlds, or just like literally a handful or less. Next, we're going to talk about LGBT representation, as Grant was responding to a thread from Kai Smith. So the first thing is how the clothes look on male bodies. If they were made for female Sims, or vice versa with female bodies and male clothes, they look baggy or oddly stretched, and that doesn't give good vibes for trans female Sims that wear feminine clothes, and it doesn't look right, or vice versa. And Grant says some of the clothing cannot really be fixed, as the game was not originally designed to support this. It wasn't something we had considered originally, and while I'm glad we made this first step, we can definitely continue to grow and improve here with other titles. And that answer makes sense to me because, in case you didn't know, The Sims 4 launched back in September 2014, and it did not have these options of being able to put female clothes on male bodies or male clothes on female bodies. That did not happen until about 2 years later in June of 2016 when they did a major overhaul of Create a Sim. And I do remember them saying when that update came out that this whole update took roughly a year to do, and they worked in association with GLAD to accomplish things and try to get things right. So I imagine this process was a huge hassle to do after the base game had already been made. I think it would have gone a lot better had they thought of this from the very beginning when they started making The Sims 4, but that did not happen. But I'm still glad that they did go back and do this, especially since they haven't really done this option in any of the previous Sims games. The Sims 4 is the first Sims game to do this. And when Glitchy Star asked, do you think in newer Sims games you might add this as an original intent, which might then fix the results for newer games? Grant says, if we ever did a new game, we would do so many things differently to be the most inclusive, representative game ever. And yeah, that definitely makes sense to me as well. So I imagine The Sims 5, whenever that ends up happening, will be a lot more inclusive than even The Sims 4 has been so far. With some more behind the scenes stuff, Sasha asks, how does animating work in The Sims 4? And Grant says, our animators shoot reference video of each other, block it out in Maya, add transitions and smoothing. Then audio adds the sound and VFX adds swirlies? We don't use mocap, though we might someday. And what is a swirly thing? I don't know. I've never worked in that sort of job before, so yeah, I don't really know. But anyways, I feel like mocap might suit The Sims quite a lot. So that seems like that could be something that would make their job a lot easier, because that process does sound kind of difficult with the whole shooting reference video and blocking everything out in Maya. No wonder why we don't get new interactions that often, and the talk interaction tends to get reused over and over again. I've noticed that a lot with The Sims 3 as well, where it's just like, oh yay, more interactions. Oh, it's just talking again. The same animation. So yeah, I definitely really would love to see more interactions in The Sims 4 that actually look different, that are not just the same thing over and over again, slightly repurposed for a different context. And the last thing is related to skateboards. As Caroline asks, would you ever consider adding something like skateboarding to the game, or would that be too complex to add? And Grant says, just very expensive to do animation-wise, but it's totally possible. And I did reply, say maybe get Tony Hawk as a celebrity promo. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Sims. I'm here for it. Yeah, because I did play the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, like, back in the GameCube days, and oh my gosh, I miss those so much. I wish I could still play them. But, yeah, I think I would really love to see skateboards, because, yeah, I talk about cars a lot, but I'd really love to see other forms of transport as well, including boats, bicycles, helicopters, hot air balloons, rollerblading, motorcycles, and yeah, absolutely skateboards. This has like a 1% chance of happening, and even then I might be a little bit generous, but ideally I'd really love to see what is almost like the create a park mode from the old Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, where you'd have like an area to set up your own custom skate park with half pipes, quarter pipes, grind rails, picnic tables, and a whole bunch of other stuff for your character to just like do tricks off of or grind on. And yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool to see in The Sims, but it's just like you're almost taking the game into a whole different genre when you go that far into detail, so I feel like, yeah, that's why I said that has maybe a 1% chance of ever happening. But if skateboarding ever does come to The Sims, I'd love for there to be more than just simply skating from point A to point B. I guess that already would be fairly expensive because you need to animate the sim getting on and off the board and making sure that the skateboard animation looks really smooth when they do turns and stuff. And they'd also have to make sure all the transitions go smoothly into fail animations as well, so hopefully there would be at least a few falling animations so that Sims don't just mess up the same way every single time. I do really wish they could also like grind rails if there's some grindable rails on the way there, or maybe like pop an ollie and do a kickflip or something like that, depending on like a hidden skateboarding skill or something like that. So I don't know, maybe even Grant is thinking of doing more complicated stuff like that when he says, oh, yeah, skateboarding would be a pretty expensive thing to do, and not just the whole basic process of having skateboards as a transport process. And that wraps up another Sims info/thoughts video, so feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on any of the topics that I discussed in this video, and be sure to leave a like or a comment or even subscribe, because it lets me know that you like my channel and my videos, and it helps you keep up to date more easily with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!